Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's time to revisit an old costume of mine. It's in fact the first costume I did on this channel. And today, so I can wear my Merr Sonn Power 5 blaster with the costume, we are going to be working on the holster rig. So in here we have a rubber cast of a Merr Sonn Power 5 blaster. Now this one is a cast that I did in a hard rubber from my master. This is my hero version, which is all metal, which is very nice, but not very practical for cons, and it does weigh down the holster quite a bit. That is why I want to be able to wear the holster with a cast version in it. This will be safe for cons, won't get damaged, it's a hell of a lot lighter than that metal version, and just overall safer for wearing it for cosplay. Now when I initially did this costume, I did have this. It's pretty decent. My cast fit in it straight away, it fits directly on the belt, it hangs really nicely, but the finishing on it isn't great. I did go around and tidy up the edges when I got it. You can see that in the previous video that I did, but now I think I have the tools and arguably skills to be able to finish this a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. I also want to upgrade my belt. This is my officer belt. I also made this in a previous video. Again, this is very good, but as I want to wear the holster with it, we need something a little bit more substantial. So this is a lovely 2mm leather. I have a 4mm leather, which is much more heavy duty, and that's what we're going to be using to upgrade the belt as well. So let's get on with some leather work. So first I think we're going to work on the holster. I've got my cast in there right now, which we don't need for the moment. So here is the current state of the edges of this. As you can see, not entirely tidy. They're a little bit sort of rough and not even, especially up here. So the tools we're going to need for this are sandpaper, or a sanding stick like this one, an edge beveler, an edge slicker, and some kind of edge coating. First step is to take a look at all of these edges and see if they need sanding flush. So that's got all of these seams a little bit more flush. I'm now going to go in with my edge beveler, and on the front side and back side of this where I can, use this to take off this sharp edge. It looks like these are just put on with screws, so I think I'm going to take these straps off and do them separately. So I've got all my edges beveled now. They look okay, they're better than they were, but this next step is where it's really going to start to come together. I actually decided I need to use this. This stuff is great, guys. If you haven't got any of this, go and get some Renaissance wax. It's so good. You can use it on metal, leather, wood, just about anything to protect it and give it a shine. So this is what we're going to be using. I'm going to be putting this on the edge and then using my edge slicker to get it all smooth. You can see that this edge is now a vast improvement on our rough edges, which are more like the ones up here, even though these have been beveled and everything. But this is now getting really smooth. We can keep going at it with the slicker just to keep refining it and getting it more and more smooth. Right, this is looking a hell of a lot better now. Actually, having done that, I think I'm going to do one coat of this over the whole thing, just to help refresh the leather a bit and make it a little bit more healthy. And then we're just going to assemble it back together. Looking much better with that on there. So there we are. I am rather happy with that. I think we've made an improvement, which is always good. You can see we're a lot less fuzzy than we used to be. The wax has even done a good job on the inside here of flattening all this fuzziness on the inside. our edges are nice and flush and smooth and clean. I think we just improved the overall finish of everything. Yes! Right, onto the belt. Now this is my old belt, it's done just fine. We're of course going to be reusing the buckle, but we've got some new leather to use, which is this one. As you can see, this is much thicker leather. It is horse bridle leather, so it is very strong. I did think it was going to come with the natural edge and natural back like this one. I would have much preferred that on here, because that's much more accurate to the movie. But we're going to just have to make do with what we've got. Just going to disattach the buckle and pin here, and then get it adjusted to length. And this one has a good side and a not so good side, which is obviously the reverse. So we're going to be using this as the front. Okay, it's through here and folding back on itself. Okay, we're going to have this problem, I think. Because the leather is so thick, we're getting this bump here as it's coming back on itself. Now obviously I want this to be as flat as possible, so we might have to wet mold it. I was thinking of even cutting a groove down here so it folds over a little bit more nicely. I might just see how the wet molding goes, but we need to get some holes punched in here to take the screw. So this little rivet's got to sit about 1 inch away from the edge of the belt when we get there. So I might wet mold this first onto here, just so we can get that nice and flat and know what kind of length we're dealing with when this is all going to sit together. So now that's just been soaked. Gonna squeeze it down. Okay, I'll leave that to dry. So there we go, I went ahead and attached the buckle via this little screw here. If you want to see how to do that, check out my other video here. But we may need to wet mold that some more. It's not sitting entirely flush. I'd like it to sit sort of close like that. Could always glue it, but I do like it so I can take it apart, so I'm probably not going to do that. Now we just need to work out the length and punch another hole. I've got this snazzy new punch, and as you press it into something, it rotates and rotates this cutting bit through the leather, so you just go up and down and it punches all the way through. There are different die sizes as well, and you can swap these out. So there we go guys, a nice little fun afternoon of working on some leather. My belt is now done, I'm actually wearing it. There we go, that fits together quite nicely. I've cut this short so this looks exactly behind where that meets together. Pretty happy with that. The holster's looking fantastic. You can see it's got a real nice finish and shine to it now. It's got a lot less of those fuzzies which are on it to begin with. And these edges are just looking and feeling much more neat. And of course my resin cast goes in quite nicely. Having said that, I never got around to finishing my resin cast. It's still in its raw state straight out of the mould. But this belt and holster rig is now wearable and I consider that a success. I hope you enjoyed joining me this afternoon for a bit of leather work. Look forward to some more costume and prop making fun in the near future. I hope you enjoyed watching, and of course I will see you in the next one, and until then, take care. Bye bye.